Hi everybody, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to LinkedIn Live podcast from Power of Knowing Forum. Today we are having the 121st episode of our podcast. We have the honor of having Mamamtha Lakshmikanth, a mentor and coach, top global 50 thought leaders and influencers. And we are talking about a topic which is more critical for today's generation on how people centric leadership, a balance of hard and soft skills, matter in the current realm of industry. I would, without further ado, I'll bring up Mamta onto this desk. Hi, Mamta. Welcome to our
Hi,
podcast.
hi Prem. Good evening. Thank you so
Good
much for this
evening.
wonderful opportunity.
Welcome to our podcast, ma'am. It is a pleasure having you here. A small intro about yourself, Mamta, on your journey so far and how, what is that we are going to discuss on this topic of people centric leadership. Over to you, Mamta.
Thank you so much. So it's been a wonderful journey of about 25 years into the learning and development, teaching, training, mentoring, and coaching. So the last 5 years has been a wonderful journey of offering different kind of opportunities for me, where I could get into the freelancing, exploring different audiences, getting into NGOs, getting into philanthropic writing, especially a lot of anthologies, and also taking up mentoring for one of the Greek groups that's called as the 100 Mentors was very amazing. They have a questioning technique, which we had professors and students coming in throughout the world. That's where I enjoyed mentoring uh, with a very different kind of an approach altogether. Apart from that, mentoring to the triple ITH students with the soft skills approach, what the industry requires was again something amazing. This also gave me an opportunity to be heading and leading quite a few women forums where we groom entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs especially, and grooming them on the soft skills. And yet, they also go with the domain areas of expertise. And this gave me the global opportunity to travel and then speak and present a paper as well, which recently I did in Colombo. Amazing learning, which has happened with the women leaders and the way they learn throughout the world and how they are looking at. So it was a mutual learning and collaboration. That's something new I want to bring in. Thanks, Prem.
Great, great pointers there, Mamta. Can you share your insights on the balancing, why balancing of hard and soft skills is critical and effective for effective leadership in today's business environment?
Yes, the modern leaders, the greatest balancing challenge, I think, would be with the hard skills and the soft skills. Because the Harvard Business Publishing Corporate Learning, what they have been saying is even though we have been driven by the technology, innovations and expectations are evolving, we have a lot of demand to create and bring in tech savvy leaders at all levels. But what actually has not changed, the fundamental truth is that leaders still have to lead, manage, guide, groom, and drive people towards their objectives and goals. And the balancing act for the modern leader is something like how they'll be navigating their journey of leadership. For this, I would say that they require two important strategies. That's the business strategies. Number one is cognitive skills and soft skills. That is the different kinds of thinking, critical thinking, creative thinking, and so on. And the second one is the continuous learning as a strategy. According to Forbes research, there has been a very wide gap that has come in with the soft skills. Now we are at the bottleneck. 79% of the global CEOs and leaders are expecting something very different. What they're expecting is that is there should be innovation, divergent thinking, then critical thinking, and thinking out of the box should be the main criteria to take in people. So, hence, there should be a very well thought out plan to balance the hard skills and the soft skills.
Now, how do we define hard skills and soft skills in a context of leadership in specific?
Sure. It's been very famously called as a leadership dilemma. Is it soft
Okay.
skills or hard skills? Most of the time people will think hard skills means I should be very hard, very aggressive, and very demanding. That is a hard skill. And the contrary, people think that soft skills should be like you should be very soft and very timid and very shy. That is soft skills, but it's not. Let's look at a very famous and very appropriate definition by the Walden University. They say that hard skills are something very specific, job related, domain related, task and role competency requirement actually would be called as a hard skill. For example, programming languages, web designing, I would say Adobe Creative Cloud, Microsoft Suite, and then marketing and so on. And in the contrary, soft skills are very personal attributes and qualities. For example, communication skills, emotional intelligence, creative thinking, problem solving, empathy, negotiating, collaboration. There are a big list of these. But we require soft skills to put hard skills into application. That is where soft skills would always be in demand for leadership requirement.
Okay. So your saying is there's a misconception saying that hard means you should be very rigid in getting things done, and soft means you should be very polite and get things done for the understanding that has been around. So that is the myth that has to be cleared, is what you're saying. In what
Yes,
ways do
absolutely.
soft skills like empathy, communication, emotional intelligence impact the leadership effectiveness?
The most importantly, number one, leaders would be able to build in strong and better connections and relationships with employees, customers, and clients, vendors, and as well as with the outside industry. The second one, they'll be able to effectively communicate whatever their goals and ambitions are to their employees down the line, to the management, and so on, to different groups of people. The third one, very crucial one, with good amount of these very well thought of empathy, communication skills, and critical thinking, they'll be able to enforce rules and disciplinary action once they think that needs to be brought in. This is a very sensitive issue, but with these kind of learnings, that'll be the best they can do. And also, it is a must for leaders to inspire, encourage, and motivate their own people to drive them across towards the major goals. There is something very interesting John Maxwell says that's called as the law of the lid. Leadership ability is the lid that determines the person's level of effectiveness. For the better or the worse, he says that always it shows or determines your effectiveness and the impact of your organization. So the leadership ability shows what you are and what your organization is.
Okay. So, see, when we talk about empathy and emotional intelligence, there is always a difference where they say emotional intelligence is to have a kind of an empathy to look at how people interact in various moods. What is your take on that, Mamta?
Emotional intelligence requires a lot of analysis, interpretation of two different aspects.
Hmm.
Number one is looking at self, and the other one is looking at the others. So it
Okay.
requires a lot of experience, concise, and then also, where we call that it is like what I am and what others are. It is something very
Hmm.
simple, but it is very tough to practice. So people require a lot of analysis, a reflection of one own self, and the reflection of others.
Okay. Okay. So, from your experience, or
Sorry.
okay. So, what are some practical strategies leaders can use continuously to develop hard skills, especially in rapid evolving industries? Hard skills is, we've heard a lot about soft skills. Hard skills seems to be something that which is not much spoken about and not much discussed about in a larger forum. Your take on it, Mamta?
Leaders should continue to learn. That's something what the future is expecting or demanding. One thing what leaders can immediately start doing is polish or brush up on the topics which they already know. That's number one. What they can do is they can read quite a few books. That's something which as leaders have to develop slowly. Then read articles. Apart from that, always involve and take part in different kind of training programs, because that brings a lot of experiential learning, not only by an individual but by the entire group who have come together. And then every one of us, especially a leader, should have a mentor of your own choice, or an expert in the industry, whomever you think you would like to actually follow. One mentor is always required for us to help to take the right path and then guide us through that path. And also, environmental sensitive. I call this as being very much sensitive to the environment around, especially in their own areas, organizations, what the employees are feeling, what the customers and clients are feeling about the product. So taking feedback helps. And the other one is they should be very much alert what is happening in the industry. And the last one I would say is involve and take a lot of interest in conversations, discussions, debates, and above all this, networking would definitely help them to build those hard skills which are required as the industry, their own areas of work demand them to.
Okay. Uh, Coming about saying when we look at what skills, is there any specific uh, domain that they should look at when we look at learning? Are there any special certifications or something that we should look at for them to have this trained among them? Any specific thing as an L&D support kind of a thing that we can talk?
Yeah, from now on, I think L&D will have a lot of work to groom their leaders, prepare them to the future. Especially, we are
Hmm.
getting newer generations which are coming in. Their demands are changing. There is a very big change, especially with the way people are approaching emotions. There's a
Yeah.
huge change. And I think that is where leaders need to really be much more alert on how they would make their employees reach the organizational objectives. The best thing is there should be a very rigorous, a proper methodology of training process from the L&D department, because training gives a holistic approach of learning. Even
Hmm.
though there are different varieties people can take up, like we have a bite-sized learning, then minute-sized kind of learning. We have got that is learning in different chunks, that is chunking and then learning. Different methods are there, but yet I would suggest a proper training, because that gives a holistic approach of how it can be applied on the job, with a lot of case studies, discussions.
Now, you ever spoke about case studies. Any specific case study where you felt learning a new skill and which helped the organization to make better decisions on that?
Yeah, I would like to quote three examples of how soft skills can be used along with the hard skills with a proper balance.
Okay.
Annie, who is the CEO of 23andMe,
Hmm.
what she did is her observation and understanding the marketing trends. She observed that, and then her ability to adapt to those changes, she brought in actions and changed the process and the regulations accordingly. This actually helped the organization to do extremely well. Another example, what we can look at is Google's Eric. Always
Hmm.
he says in most of his podcasts, he has recently said that the soft skills of a potential hire are the most important one, because either they break or make the business of the company. So that is what we are going to look for. That's what he's saying. They want to bring in a change in the hiring process, where he says that we need to look at two important elements, that is persistence and curiosity. The third example I want to quote is of Mary, who is the CEO of General Motors. A very inspiring example is this.
Hmm.
She has been renowned for her empathetic approach.
Okay.
And she used to continuously hold town hall meetings, meeting people and listening very carefully and address the employees' concerns. So she exhibited active listening most of the time as a leader. And also she's been known as an empathetic leader, and she listens very actively, and she involves with us and so on. Very positive, impressive comments she gets. And also it shows that how committed she is towards the organization and towards the employees. In turn, she's also committed to the clients and customers as well, because all this would drive there. And something very interesting she is able to handle is the diverse perspectives of involving and bringing in inclusion. That is the major part of the training and the learning today is on inclusion. Empathetic leadership style is very important, where it created a lot of trust and loyal environment in the organization. So that brought in a huge revenue for General Motors. So these are the three examples I want to quote, Prem. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, looking at what are the common pitfalls leaders face while trying to balance soft skills and hard skills, and how do they avoid them?
Okay, I remember one of the interviews by Julie Sweet, who was the CEO of Accenture. She was the chair and CEO of the Accenture. In her HBR interview, she said something very amazing. She said that learning agility is the single most important quality we are going to look for in the prospective leaders our company wants to hire. And she said, no
Okay.
matter who you are, your ability to learn and learn in an agile manner is something what is very important for us. She said that we hire you maybe for many certain skills, probably the hard skills which the task or the business is looking for, but yet we need to keep in mind that the rate of change with the demand of the soft skills which is happening in the industry, that's in the expected coming the forthcoming generations, is very very rapid, it's very intense. So if we have to match with that, we need to look at the learning agile people who should join the leadership team for us. So this is something which has been neglected or probably ignored. So we need leaders who are ready to learn, who are very agile in their learning. This is the most important and the crucial addition, I would say, which can bring in a huge change with a combination of hard skills and soft skills.
Okay. I understand where there is lot of learning curve that is coming, and the industry is changing in terms of the way soft skills is looked at, L&D is looked at. From your experience, what are the current trends in leadership that emphasize importance of soft skills along with hard skills?
Sure. The latest trends, what we have been calling as the CEO insights on the leadership trends, I would
Hmm.
say is mindset is the foundation for building soft skills. The word
Okay.
is mindset. And a growth mindset is the loudest buzzword in the corporate landscape today. That's
Correct.
been the major talk of the town. That is the mindset and the growth mindset. A psychologist Carroll defined this term as a mindset and the growth mindset. People who have the mindset to grow are going to be the future leaders. That is abilities to dedicate and work hard and to create that love for learning, and also they have to build this resilience to accomplish their dreams and goals. How should leaders influence this mindset and soft skills in the corporate world? I would say they can use 5 ways, which I came up with these 5 ways, which is very easy and it should be done across the organization at different levels. Number one is they have to recognize what are those skills we require, hard skills and soft skills, and how do
Mhm.
we balance it. So, how much of it, how much do we require for a particular leadership role we are going to have? First is recognition. The second one is hire the right people with the right sets. That is what you are looking for in a leader. That's number two. Number three is training. Train the people on these two skills in a specific manner, but soft skills requires more training on the job in the company. And the next one is managing. How do we manage these learning that has to be continuous with the help of the L&D and the HRT? And the last one is I have to lead these people towards the goal.
Very important, crucial points that you mentioned here. What could be the leaders' look at, or how can leaders look at fostering people centric culture in organization while maintaining high performance, because performance matters, right? So, and when you talk about performance, you're also looking at productivity. So how is that performance versus productivity getting mapped, and how people centric leaders look at this culture in the organization? That's the question that I wanted to understand from you on that.
Sure. The productivity and performance, they always go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So they influence each other. And for this, most often what we all do is, so irrespective of it's the leadership or the employees, we always look at the tools as the most important requirement, or maybe we look at skills. But there is something which we already discussed, that is the mindset. So the right approach and the attitude is required, especially whenever we are looking at people-centric cultures. We need a combination of these three. That is a mindset first. The second one is the skill set, and the last one is the tool set. The tool set mainly would be focusing on the hard skills. When we put all these three together, then we'll have the strategic approach and the strategic attitude to bring in the best in our own people. So these concepts then can be put on the spotlight. Then we can bring in where we have to appreciate a lot of self-efficacy, then diversity in thinking, and also bring in a lot of importance for inclusiveness.
Thank you for that, Mamta. What are sorry? Can we discuss a role of emotional intelligence uh, coming into leadership, and how it can be developed and measured?
Sure. The emotional intelligence or emotional quotient for leaders is more important because now we are focusing on people centric leadership. Now, in the future, the people centric leadership would change to human centric leadership. So, the demand for emotional intelligence, empathy have been increasing. The Kenneth, who was CEO of the American Express, he talked about that value EQ over IQ long back in the universities. That is, he actually cautioned us 10 years back that we would be reaching this particular day. But now we need to actually hurry up and then build these skills in people. Because a good leader always wants to get things done. And we need EQ to bring in an understanding of diverse people to seek their opinions from all quarters of the company. And he used to say that, he gave his own example. He used to say that I am available to people and I reach out to all different levels in the organization. If an employee sends me a message, so I would go and reply to that. Maybe it's a single word or a phrase or even a sentence, small sentence. He used to say that I reply because I want to be open to people for discussions, for ideas to take it up and then make it more innovative and creative. So he said that we need to be more approachable. So I want to actually emphasize on the same point what he said. So since we live in the area of innovation, creative thinking, divergent thinking, and inclusiveness, we have people coming up from different cultures. So we need to really be very sensitive to culture. For that, we need emotional intelligence. For that, we need empathy. And then we are having different groups of generations working together. Yet again, we need empathy. Conflicts are becoming more and more. It's becoming very difficult to handle the challenges because they are increasing and also they are becoming challenging. To come up with a good handling methods of conflict, we need again emotional intelligence and empathy. And then we need very good artistic way of doing negotiations. So we require good negotiation skills. We need to persuade and we need to convince people. For this, we need communication skills again, advanced level of communication skills, then different styles of negotiations. So everywhere we need the combination of these along with the hard skills. But the demand for these would be more because we are going to use the soft skills to apply hard skills in different domains and different industries.
You touched up an important point and some of the crucial things on how it can be developed. But what we see is we develop a plan and we do something, and there is resistance. And how can leaders effectively address the resistance to change when implementing new soft skill focused initiatives within their teams? Because first is I'm not interested in doing, people are not interested to look at change. Now, with that kind of a thing, again, when we talk about soft skills and hard skills, it becomes very difficult for us to implement in teams. What is your view on that? Mamamtha?
It's always been a challenge to make people learn, because we say that you have to learn for a different reason. It can be to to come up with a solution to satisfy the customers and so on. But soft skills is not for others; it is for one own self. That is what I think it needs to be brought in an awareness among people, which they are not aware of. So I always think that it is for somebody else to do something else. So once we think that these kind of skills are to build our own personality, the overall personality is built only through soft skills. So what I would be. So here I would like to say that most often there is a myth and a wrong understanding of thinking that leadership skills is a technical skill. They think it's a hard skill. No, it is not. It is a soft skill because you are going to do a lot of work which is not related to job. You're not going to do any of those hard skills. There are teams. You have got such a bigger group of people who would be doing it. What you as a leader would be doing is something different. You would be focusing more and doing most of the soft skills work you would be doing. You're listening, you're talking to customers and clients, you have to persuade, you have to convince people, and then you need to really empathize with your employees, with the outside market. You need to compete. For that, you need to be a strategic leader. You need to think strategically. Even your communication skills have to be very strategic. This is where people have to have an understanding and awareness. When it's the last minute, when they have actually surpassed that entire their journey, then they would feel that, oh, I'm not ready for this role because I've not learned. I never thought this is important. Nobody told me. So have a mentor, learn from them, prepare yourself for everything you do in soft skills is for you. And everything you are going to learn is going to be your own learning, where not only it's going to be your own learning, you'll be able to bring in the best in others. That is what is leadership. Such a wonderful way you can actually give back to the society as well. You're grooming the future generation, you're grooming the future leaders so that they are going to learn. That is what the soft skills is going to give them, along with the appropriate hard skills and the strategic pointers of communication too.
Very important points again there, Mamta. Now, what is happening in the current generation is that we have soft skills and hard skills as two different things. Now, how does this hard skills and soft skills come into play when going through crisis? Because we don't look at how we talk or how we respond to this one issue when we are at the crisis, and that is a time where we have a lot of uncertainty being there. Now, how do you look at soft skills and hard skills being playing a role here?
So it's a tough job for the leaders during the crisis time or uncertainty. Yes, definitely it is difficult. And I would just take an example of an anecdote here.
Hmm.
Especially the people centric leadership is like walking on a rope, a tightrope. So, how gracefully the leaders walk by balancing both the hard skills and the soft skills is going to be the future. So it's something like, for example, I would like to take an example of a music, for example, a musical instrument,
Hmm.
veena, guitar, or any of those string instruments, for example. Even though I'm a great performer and a very famous player and a very famous singer, so unless we fine tune those instruments, we will not be able to play, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right? We can't. We need that fine tuning. If I don't fine tune, however good I am, I will not be able to perform. These soft skills, our hard skills, our learning is very similar to fine tuning these instruments or the tools. So we are the instrument, we are the tool. So we need to fine tune ourselves with a lot of work on our own self. And definitely, I have to walk. Everybody is watching the leaders and how do they walk on the rope and how gracefully by balancing these two. So they always have the eyes on them. So it's very tough. What they have to definitely fine tune their own skills and also encourage and build in a culture for the team that they learn constantly. We cannot even take a break here because already we are late according to the research that we have 80% of gap in soft skills. So it's going to increase more and more unless somebody takes an effort to build these. So there should be a lot of awards and rewards for these people, a lot of encouragement, a lot of involvement of the senior management and senior leadership along with the employees to bring in the best learning methods and also a lot of awareness to be given to people so that they are attending and learning regularly. The leader himself should be an example of a great learner, an agile learner, and share those learnings with people. Maybe in a small, probably just go on a coffee with one of the groups and share one particular concept or a thought you have, and then look at how people would respond to it. So you would get a lot of different kind of thoughts from the younger generation and how would actually people want to apply it. Is there anywhere we can apply in the company? The ideas come from anywhere, it can come from any level, anybody can actually give an example. These are some things which has been followed by many companies throughout the world, where the senior management would actually sit and then draw those examples from various group of people who do various kind of work in the organization. That is something a very beautiful example as a leadership.
Thank you for that, Mamta. Coming back to feedback, how do we look at what are the some effective ways for leaders to give and receive feedback through that promises growth and improvement both on hard skills and soft skills?
So this can be in a collaboration with the HR team and the department. So that's going to be much more easier, more professional, and can be documented as well. So the way people take feedback has changed a lot. It's not the same, and no longer it's going to be the same. There'll be the degrees in which people accept the feedback, and the way it has to be given has changed. Long have gone back those days when there was a management style was very different, and now it is all the more different. So it's gone. It's completely gone, and there's a new trend which is coming in, and we have all new people. So they definitely the leaders require that emotional approach and emotional intelligence to give and share the feedback with the performers, the employees, and there might be a lot of conflicts which comes in. So we need to have different types of conflict handling methods, should because that's going to come up again, and demonstrate empathy and then try to understand, include people, even when you give feedback. So any small idea can be a key for you at your business level. We don't know what particular idea can actually help you. They might be able to give you the best of the best ideas. So, giving feedback, open feedback, and then timely feedback, which should not be actually kept as a collection and then given on one day, people would have even forgotten about it. And good things, there should be a lot of appreciation so that we will be able to give not so good or probably areas of improvement also in the same manner. That should be slowly glided along with the best things people have been doing, and also groom them, award them. Also actually we the corrections have to be made by the leaders. They must be there, the team leaders, the managers, directors, and the leadership team should always be there to help them, involve them in the decision making as well, so they get a lot of confidence, and trust and faith should be built. Once the trust and faith is built, it's more easier to glide those feedback, all the different kinds, can be discussed in a much more open and receiving manner.
I think what you said is right because many of the people scared to take feedback or respect those feedback given and say this has been harsh. But when you look at giving a feedback where you give them a plan of improvement, that helps, is what I understand. And with the right feedback, there are people who have turned around the tables across from a non-performer to a great performer as well. So it all depends on the pitfalls that they have been part of and how they can look at growth for themselves and bring more clarity for what they are having and why this feedback mattered for people, right? So that gives a lot of information for their growth and their planning to do certain things in a very professional way is what I feel,
Right?
Mamta.
Yeah, most of the time, people are not even aware of the feedback.
Yeah.
So it's not been given to them. So they would be thinking, okay, this is right, unless somebody comes and tells them, and this is what I need. Most of the time, they don't know. There is a long gap between what I have seen in my experiences. There is a huge gap between the management, the leadership, and the employees, the customers and clients, and they all are separate. So when we say consultative approach is one of the approaches, then everybody should be in consultative mode. So there is no wrong in consulting a very junior member. I feel okay, oh, that's an idea, especially in technology, they're so good. They're
Yeah.
so much, aware, what can be done in a short period of time in a different way. So involve them. It's so nice to be with them and learn from them because we have to really walk the path with them shortly. So recognize them. One of the very senior person is giving a particular feedback, take it. The client and customer, most of the time, they give feedback. They are like gold. They are like golden words. So we need to take and then do something with it. Be very happy if it's good and then work on it and continue, or any kind of improvement we need to take it. So it has to be a combination. We need to have a more of a consultative approach rather than working as all of us are as a different teams. This really brings in a lot of help.
Now, Mamta, what I wanted to have a pointer here is now there are a lot of people coming out of these colleges. We've been discussing this throughout our podcast, whether it is technology, whether it is cyberspace, leadership, management, over the last 120 plus episodes that we have done so far on LinkedIn. My my take from you are the advice that you would like to give to freshers who are joining or entering this workforce on developing both hard skills and soft skills to prepare them for future leaders. What would be that?
Yeah, they will be very lucky if they have somebody who can groom them and then help them and nurture them.
Okay.
And the first important thing I would like to say is they should consider them as lifelong learners. This has to be iterated again and again for them so that they will have a long career to cherish. If they are a learner, they will always have a longer career. They can see themselves, dream themselves as whatever they want to be. The first one is they should have a roadmap, a proper roadmap once they join on the learnings, hard skills, technical skills, process learning, and so on. Number two, they need to have a mentor. Mentor should be from the organization who can mentor them specifically on what is required for the organization. Otherwise, it might not match with what we want. They can as well have a personal mentor too, whom they like or whom they really believe in. But a mentor in the organization for these freshers is a must. So it helps them for the initial years on the path they need to take, and then they can accomplish not only their own personal goals, but yet they need to fulfill the organization's goal, which is much more important. And the third one is on the coaching. They should be coached well on few of the areas to bring in improvement, and they can see the path and then accomplish the goal towards the organization's objectives mainly.
what you're saying is most of the critical leadership skills that have to be learned would need a mentor. Okay, and for that, they should be nurtured and brought into organizations to ensure they have a long-term success. So, how would a person choose a mentor, and what are the most critical leadership skills that would be nurtured within an organization to ensure long-term success?
Learning amplifies connection and the purpose, both networking and the objective, especially for a leader. And I'm talking about the people centric leadership, it's human centric leadership. According to the Workplace Learning Report by LinkedIn, that is this year, that is 2024, they have a very amazing survey. It says that 7 out of 10 people want to actually have a good connection with employees, with the customers and clients, and with the overall working model. And 8 in 10 people says that learning amplifies and helps them to work better. This is what the latest survey says. Learning becomes a secret sauce, I would say, to engage with people and engaging with the diverse cultured people, and then also investing in learning and reap the reward, whatever, and the awards, whatever we are going to get out of it. Both monetary, learning, and in terms of people, all different kinds of awards we are going to win. It's not just only monetary. According to the HBR analysis review, they did a review, that's the corporate learning team, what actually are required, what are the major skills we have to nurture within the organization for a long term success. Number one, empathy came up. As you know, it's a part of the emotional intelligence. So, empathy, understanding people, understanding customers and client, understanding the market. Is this product doing well? Or should I bring in some features into the product? How are they liking it, not liking it, and so on. So, empathy becomes a crucial measuring tool to understand where do I stand as an organization and as a leader as well. A self analysis for leader too, for the reflection too. And the second one is communication skills, as it is would have the bigger demand. When I say communication skills is large for a leader, leader would be actually doing a lot of persuasion and convincing in terms of marketing and sales, or convincing their own employees towards the objective and the goals. And it could be conflict management. We need good communication skills to manage conflict. Negotiation skills. We need extremely good communication skills with language. For example, I would say how to use questioning techniques or language techniques in negotiations. So it's a huge list comes up for the leaders, especially in terms of communication. Above all, active listening is so important for leaders. They miss something, it's gone. But as a good listener, if I get something, I quoted already two different beautiful examples. A good listener can catch, and that can become the most important ingredient for the success of that year, maybe. So, and then the adaptability is number three in the ranking. How well people can adapt. I did give an example of a case study on adaptability too. Are you adaptable to the changing customer needs? Am I adaptable to the changing work culture of the new generation that's been coming into my organization? So these are the questions constantly keeps coming, and the leader will have to do a lot of work on this and then work towards accomplishing these as well. Number four comes up with mentoring and coaching. An important skill as a leader will have to implement these in their own organizations too. They have to implement this. So we must have a good group of mentors whom I can assign to the employees in the organization. I need to have it ready. And I need to take coaching as well as I need to encourage people to take up both coaching and mentoring as a leader. And the fifth one have always been there on the list of the top five, that is trust building. Unless I build trust with anybody, with any of the stakeholders, with any of my own people, employees, either it can be external customers or internal customers, then definitely it's a challenge. In this world of empathy, and emotional intelligence, which is taking a bigger role to play.
Now, going on soft skills and hard skills, are there any lesser known aspects of leadership related hard and soft skills that you believe are crucial for leaders to understand and master them?
Yeah, the new frontier work ways are coming up. So are we ready for it with the newer technological advancements that's coming in? With the AI coming in the digital area, the demand for human skills and soft skills will be all the more crucial and will be all the more rapidly influencing us. This is something which we are not aware of. So that's the change in the trend. That's a change in the work ways people would be bringing in to the organization. As a leader, how are you going to work to develop these human skills? We said people skills earlier. Now it's going to be all the more human skills across your organization, across your teams. Am I ready as a leader? Are we leaders ready to bring in this? Is something where we must know kind. People-centric is changing to human-centric, which already said as going to be the future of the leadership itself. There, the only thing that can help us is a learning continuously, understanding, empathizing, and a lot of other skills which I mentioned again, maybe as a repetitive here, as a part of the known and unknown. A lot of Johari window we need to bring in for the learning process. That's something very interesting model. Uh, should everybody should take this? The leaders, the management, the HR team, the L&D team too.
We spoke some of the case studies in real time example where where a balance of hardware led to a significant organization success or failure. Is there an example that we can discuss?
Hard skills, yes, always there is a challenge because I think recently I would like to take the last 5 years has been very different, especially the industries have been seeing. The COVID came in and it was such a beautiful lesson for all of us, I would say, where we were focusing so much on, only the hard skills throughout the world. And it gave us a lesson that, we can't be the same because it took over something which cannot be done only with hard skills. Throughout the world, we have numerous examples, as we can see, where we have the human skills, I would say. Actually, human skills came in because of the COVID. It became more of humanized. Every organization did actually fail here and there because of a lot of importance we were giving it. It's not like we never focused on soft skills. They were there, they were very soft. And now soft skills will be rebranded as a power skills. So we're going to use it as a power skills from now on because of the power it can bring in to the hard skills where it can be. So every particular organization face the problem of just only focusing on hard skills. Then we changed the method to work from home, understanding, and some of the companies did wonderful work helping people to take their tools. Okay, but we need skills as well. They help them with all the tools that could be taken home, and a lot of support from the families, providing them the workspace at home. And the children have helped so much, the spouses have helped them so much, everybody came in to help. So this is a beautiful example of where I would say the human touch really took over the hard skills.
Okay, great, Mamta. With this, I think I would like to summarize. I have taken some of the notes on what we discussed today. I'll summarize on what we discussed today. We started with understanding the leadership balance. Then we said what is defining hard skills and soft skills. Then we spoke on what could be some of the impacts of soft skills on leadership, and we dwelled upon developing hard skills, how hard skills can help us. Then we spoke about some of the pitfalls of leadership, common pitfalls. We added CEO insights and leadership trends there. Then we brought up a building a people centric culture. Overcoming resistance is one thing that we did. how role of emotional intelligence also makes an important point here is what we discussed. And we spoke about crisis and uncertainty on a few pointers there. With uncertainty and crisis, we also spoke about how feedback and growth can bring in a lot of value to hard skills and soft skills. And some pointers for the new joiners or the new people entering the industry, which is inspiring the freshers we spoke. And we also looked at some of the known and unknown as trends that we had with the leadership perspective. Some case studies and some examples is what we discussed on a real time environment over this 45 minutes of our session today. Mamta. Great having you on the show. Thank you for being on
Thank you so
LinkedIn Live
much.
with
It's
us today.
wonderful.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
and
Thanks a lot.
uh, we are on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, and Instagram. We hope this session that we have conducted along with Mamta's insights has been valuable for you as audience. And if you have anything that you want to talk or connect with Mamta, Mamta can be reached on the scroll that we are running on her LinkedIn link that you can reach Mamta over that. And we will be back with another episode tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. on a topic of streamlining and reducing waste to productivity on 24th July 2024 at 6:30 p.m. Looking forward to see you there. Mamta, you have any last minute thanks or thoughts to your audience here, Mamta? You can go ahead on that.
Thank you so much, Prem. It was a pleasure and a delight to talk to you and for providing me this great and wonderful platform. I would say this is one of the platforms which really is going to help us and bring people together to make a huge difference, what we all want to. And a big applaud to you and the kind of work you have been doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Looking
Mamta.
forward to again getting connected with you.
Sure, Mamta, we'll do another session on the topics that you
Sure.
feel that has to spread awareness. The whole objective of running this podcast is to share our knowledge, bring in leaders who can share their insight, guide the team and the audience to understand the pieces of information which is available, but they don't know whom to look up. That's where we wanted to have this podcast running on our sessions. And we've been doing these sessions and a lot of insights, lot of people. It's been a personal learning for myself, being a great journey there over Mantra. Thank you. And with this,
Thank
we
you
would
so
like to
much.
conclude the session. Thank you, Mantra.
Thank you so much.